Good afternoon, Methodical Man here, coming to you guys on a Friday evening with a little bit of information. I want to go over a magical EMA strategy that I've been using for the past few months. Haven't really back tested it to get an exact win percentage here, but want to go back through kind of maybe like this last week of data and show you guys how I'm using this every single day to make money. So if you didn't know from the thumbnail, the EMA that we are talking about today is going to be the 50 EMA. Now, what we're going to be doing is pairing the 50 EMA with the 21 and the 9. So as you can see, I have 3 EMAs on my chart here. We have a blue line, which is the 9 EMA. The red line is the 21 EMA, and the white line is the 50. And it's a real simple concept. There are a few rules that you need to follow to make this successful. First of all, we're going to be targeting a 1-to-1 risk to reward. 10-point take profit, 10-point stop loss. These are hard limits. You do not move your stop loss in this strategy. That's the ideal way of trading it. And all I'm looking for is I want to see I don't look for an entry before 10 a.m. So I want to see it to be after 10 a.m. We want to have a crossover of the EMAs. So you can see right here, the EMAs cross over. The 9 and the 21 cross the 50 there. And you need to have some separation between the 9 EMA and the 50 EMA. So right here's a 30-point separation. And the reason you need separation is pretty simple. On the first touch of the EMA, you need, if you're looking for 10 points, you don't want to be fighting an EMA to get 10 points, right? So I don't want to be fighting the 9 or the 21 to get my 10 points. So they need to be spread out more than 10 points from the 50 when the touch occurs, right? That's the most ideal scenario. So let's go over the rules. After 10 a.m., across of the EMAs, we need to have a nice spread, probably around 15 points at a minimum, between the 9 and the 50. And then we're simply going to take the very first touch of the 50 EMA, and we're going to have a hard 10-point stop with a 10-point take profit. So on today's action, we had a cross here. We had a nice trend going, and then we kind of pulled back into the 50 and we touched right here and we bounced. So my entry would have been 776. You can see this very first bounce bounced up 12.75 points. I did take this on all my funded accounts today for a $400 winner because I do take these trades with 2 minis. Now, one thing that I did not cover in the rules there is we really want to add a second confluence with this trade. We don't want it to just be only the 50 EMA that we're looking for a bounce on. So in this scenario, you can see that we have a bullish fair value gap here that paired with the EMA touch. So you want to have you want to at least have one extra confluence to go with the 50 EMA touch in order for this to be the highest of probabilities. So you might say, well, Methodical, what do you mean? Besides a bullish gap, what else could there be? Well, there could be a VWAP. There could be a previous day high, a previous day low. There could be a midnight open, a pivot point, initial balance high, initial balance low, 15-minute opening range, high or low. Anything. You're going to pair it with anything for the best results. Now, you can see, so this played out here nicely. And you can see I don't take any other trades on this particular setup for the rest of the day. Now, does it have more than one entry throughout the day? Yes, it typically will, but the first is going to be the best, okay? So that's the trade that we took today. So let's go back to yesterday's action, and let's pick out the trade that would have happened yesterday. So we can see all we're looking for is 10 a.m. So here's 10 a.m. and we're looking for a trend to develop. All right. Are we trending higher here? Yes, we are. Do we have nice separation between the 50 and the 9? Yes, we got the 50 and the 9 EMA. We got 19 points. Okay. So we have a cross. Here's the cross, as you can see right there. Nice trend developing. Great spacing. And then also one of the other things that we are looking for, we want to see kind of a stair step back to the 50. We don't want to see a death candle here. We want to just see a nice slow stair step. So this would be your entry right here. So you get long off of the 61.75, looking for 10 points with a 10-point stop. Immediately pushes up 13 points. You did take a little drawdown on this trade of about 5.5 points. But that's it. Again, this is one trade per day. That's how you're going to be the most successful with this strategy. And so this is Thursday. We just saw Friday's action, and now I'm just going to move on back to Wednesday. And this is just a very, very consistent strategy, guys. It's easy to understand. It's beginner friendly. I mean, if you can just outline these few sets of rules and use these rules every single day, you're gonna make good money trading the strategy. So here we have the 10 a.m. We do have a cross here. Now the cross can occur before 10 a.m. Now the EMAs right here, we have about 16 points between the 9 and the 21. So, or 9 and the 50, I'm sorry. So this would be a short entry. So we're going to have a short entry here, right here on this touch. So there's your touch of the 50. It's a short entry. You can see you get 23 points immediately. Zero drawdown trade. Now this one, I will say, is a little bit questionable because the touch happened so quick. So let's say that you're uncomfortable with the spacing here and you say, okay, well, this is a little bit jumbled up. Now, full transparency, this is not a trade that I personally took. I waited for the cross again here, and then we had the nice spread out action here, 19 points. We have a clear downtrend at this point. This is the trade that I actually took here and just took it for 10 points. Zero drawdown, same result. You could have taken either one. Really, I like to have that trend established. And right here, we don't really have that. Now, you could say, well, we did retest the opening range right here, right? Because this is the 930 candle. Yeah, 930 candle. So we did retest the opening range on that setup there. So you could consider that. And then also this setup over here, like I said, you want to pair it with something. There is a small fair value gap right there as well. Small bearish gap to kind of have your second confluence on that one. So that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all winners on the first opportunity here. Now this is not 100%. No trade strategy is. So there are going to be losers. And this is a bit discretionary, You do have to determine whether or not the EMAs are spread out enough or not. Okay. So here is Tuesday's action, and you can see 10 a.m. right in here. We have a cross. Again, this is the first touch right here. But you see, there's only 10 points. And you see how close the EMAs are here. Now, you do have a bullish gap for your extra confluence here. But this is only 10 points between the EMAs, and if I'm looking for 10 points off this level, I've got to fight the 21 and the 9 to get my 10 points. So this, to me, I don't count that as an entry. And then that would be the second one, so I don't count that as an entry. Now, right here, we have an EMA cross. So these cross again. Does not have to cross the 50. They just have to cross each other. So the 9 and the 21 cross here. Now we have kind of a clear trend, right? The trend is up. So now I feel more comfortable looking for a long at this point. So what would be the first touch of the 50 after that cross? Well, right here we got 15 points of spread, which is good. And then we also have a bullish fair value gap here. That's a protection below. Now I realize this is below the 50 EMA, but it still counts, right? It's still a little protection below there. So this right here is going to be the first touch of the 50 EMA. So that's going to be your entry here, and you're going to look for 10 points off that. And you can see right away, you got 9.5 there. It did retest, and then on this candle here, it pushes up, gives you the 12 points. You're only looking for 10, and so that's a winner. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all winners. And again, this is discretionary, right? I mean, this is the part of the strategy where you have to make your own decision. You know, could you have taken this one? I mean, I never would. I never would take this one, but I mean, theoretically, you could. And if you didn't take this one, could you have taken this one? Theoretically, you could. That's where the discretion kind of comes in on this strategy. I prefer the trend to kind of be established and kind of go from there. So let's move on over to Monday. So no losers yet this week. Again, this does lose. I mean, you know, it's not 100%. It is going to lose sometimes. But it is solid enough to where you're going to win more than you lose, and you're going to make money even with a 1-to-1 R, you know, risk to reward there. So here we go. This is Monday. We're looking for after 10 a.m. So 10 a.m. is right over here somewhere. But we have the cross back here. Again, the cross can occur before 10 a.m. The entry simply doesn't occur before 10 a.m. That's all. So we have a clear trend, uptrend established here, right? Nice clear uptrend. This is the first touch of the 50 EMA here. Do we get 10 points? Yes, we do. 12.5 points. 0 drawdown. Is there a second confluence with this as well? Indeed. You have another fair value gap right there. So you got protection of a fair value gap. You've got your EMA touch. So you got your extra confluence and everything right here all in one. And again, you can see it just gave us the bounce that we needed for our 10 points, and then it pushed back through. So, and again, so that's Monday through Friday, taking the very first 50 EMA touch after the cross, after 10 a.m. with a secondary confluence. And you see, it went 5 out of 5 this week. It's very, very good. Now, you could take trades later on this as well if you wanted to. I don't recommend it, but you can. And it has very similar results. You can see a cross here. And then you got a little bit of separation here, 18 points. This would be your first touch on a short. And you can see it paid with very little drawdown. And actually paid a lot if you had held a runner there. So you could use this later in the day. I've not back tested that, so I don't know the win rate on it, but it's still very, very good. You know, I recommend this strategy. If you have a strategy that you normally trade, I always have kind of a secondary strategy in my back pocket that may give me another entry if my initial strategy just isn't offering an entry. And that's what I use this for. So this isn't my main strategy, but it's one that I have in my back pocket if the main strategy simply does not offer an entry. So let me know down in the comments down below. Do you guys use the 50 EMA? Check it out, back test it, see what you think. Let me know down in the comments, and hit that subscribe button, like the video if you enjoy this type of content. If you want to help support the channel, all the links are down below in the description of the video for all the prop firms that I recommend. That's it. We do stream live 5 days a week. If you want to see this strategy traded live, join me at 9:15 a.m. for the New York session live. We'll see you guys then.